What's up, all? I figured I'd do a 1/6 scale Game of Thrones kind of a deep dive video, show off my collection, but also talk about future releases and wish lists and just kind of small critiques on each figure or what they could have done differently or whatever. So this is just a very condensed collection video. Just I don't know if anything like this exists on YouTube, but I figured Game of Thrones is my favorite show of all time, and 1/6 scale is my favorite format for a figure. So these are kind of like my perfect collectible in a way. I mean, before I say anything else, I would say this line has exceeded my expectations. I thought when they were announced, maybe we'd get 3 or 4 figures. We've got a ton more than that, plus some unofficial ones made by Zensation Collectibles. I'll point out which ones are since they're all 3-0 except for the few that I point out, which are Zensation, which are unofficial figures, highly illegal, but I bought them because they're characters that 3-0 never made, so it's not like it's taking money out of 3-0's pocket. But anyway, without further ado, here's Jorah Mormont, which was one of the last figures released. Not the last, but one of the last. He's a good figure, and he was representing season 8. Specifically, I feel the Dark Knight episode, or whatever, Dead Long Night, or whatever the hell that was called, the one where everyone complains that you can't see, blah, blah, blah. Right off the bat, I'm going to say they should have done yellow shirt Jorah. It does these to me. Game of Thrones is evergreen. You don't need to make the most current version of these characters. You can make the most famous version of these characters, and I feel a lot of times 3-0 was trying to stay relevant. And I'm gonna get more into that, but with Jorah, this is not a look that I feel is very iconic. They should have went with season 1, season 2, season 3, whatever. Where he wears the yellow shirt. You know, if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. That's the version they really should have went with. Here is the unofficial Zensation soldier figure. I think that's what the name is. Obviously, it's supposed to be what's the name? I'll get it in a second. Grey Worm. This always happens when you record, right? Unofficial figure that by Zensation. He's pretty good, and 3-0 never made him. So, and we got Tywin, and Tywin is one of the best characters in the show. I mean, who can disagree with that? Charles Dance trying to get the Shadow not in here. They're all kind of crammed together, so it's hard to. And yeah, we need a Tywin, so thankfully Zensation made him. We'll just go with Daenerys. She has the exclusive 3 dragons. Now I have every 3-0 figure other than the white dress Daenerys, and I didn't get it for multiple reasons. One, it just didn't seem like a different enough costume for me. Like, who really cares about her white dress outfit? And maybe I'm a little bit biased because I don't really like Daenerys all that much. And but I would the ones that were revealed that they showed photos of, but that are not up for pre-order yet, are the season 1 Daenerys and the season 8 Daenerys, and those are two that I probably will end up getting, unfortunately, because they're just too those are very iconic looks for me. But here's her blue dress, which I believe is like season 3, kind of. Anyway, we got the 2 Kingslayer figures, Jaime Lannister. And I always am in favor of original, of new characters rather than repeating the same. But Jaime's a big enough character where I think 2 is not that big a deal. And we got the, kind of the later season Jaime and season 1 Jaime, where he's a cocky, basically asshole with. And here we got Joffrey. I'm so glad 3-0 made Joffrey, because when time this figure came out, Joffrey was long dead in the show. It was like season 7 or 8 or whatever the hell we were up to. So they went back and they made an older character. And like I said, the show's evergreen. You can make older characters, and I wish they did that a little bit more, and I'll probably get to that in the end here. But Joffrey figure with the crossbow. No complaints here with Joffrey. Definitely needed him. Let's get the Cersei here in the back. There's only so much you can do with Cersei as a figure to make it cool looking. She's not so much. She doesn't have armor, blah blah blah. But is this the version of Cersei we wanted? I really would have preferred pre-Walk of Shame Cersei, long, rooted hair Cersei, seasons 1 through 4. I don't even care, but we got short hair, season 8 Cersei. Whatever. It's not really what I would have wanted. But anyway, up front, of course, we got Tyrion. This is Hand of the King Tyrion from season 2. And there's another Tyrion coming up. They're not next to each other. Here we got Bronn. Now, I think Cersei's the worst 3-0 figure, but Bronn is probably the worst Zensation figure. He is the worst, but Bronn's one of my favorite characters, and once again, 3-0 is not made of Bronn, so if you want Bronn in 1/6 scale, this is what you got. He's not horrible by any means, but not great. We got Brienne back there. I have a hard time remembering Brienne's armor or not. This seems like a later Brienne. It's a good figure. No real complaints. And here we got... I'm going to do 2 Hounds at once. The Hound is my favorite character. So when they... And this latest Hound, or Sandor if you want to call him, was the newest 3-0 figure they made. And the original Hound was one of the first. Now, a lot of people were complaining that why do we need another Hound, blah, blah, blah. Since the Hound is my favorite character, and these 2 looks basically cover the character. What else do you need? You got the armored Hound, and you got the later cloth one from season 7, 8. What else do you really need? And I was more than happy to have 2 of him in my collection, because he's by far my favorite character. He's one of my favorite characters in almost anything ever, so... And both are pretty good. Both have the rooted hair. This one, the new one, was a little improved. I also have the exclusive one that came with the helm. In the back there, we got the Night King and the White Walker. Not much to say about them. I think they're welcome additions. If I had tons of money and space, I probably would have cut an army build the White Walkers. I think that would have been fun, but they're not exactly cheap. About $200 a pop. Here we got Davos, and Zensation Collectibles to the rescue again. Davos, the head sculpt on Davos, I think is amazing. Let's see if we can focus that. And we got the later season 7, 8. Tyrion, when he's Hand of the Queen to Daenerys. This Tyrion, I think, is a better figure than the first Tyrion, but I think if I had to pick between the 2, I would definitely pick early season Tyrion, only because those seasons are so much better. Tormund Giantsbane, one of my favorite characters, probably top 3, along with Hound and Ned. And I cannot in my wildest imagination believe that 3-0 would make him when this line was first announced, but thankfully they did, and it's freaking awesome. We got Arya from season 8. She's a figure that I almost passed on, but I was like, it's so wildly different from season 1, 2 Arya. I was like, so I broke down and got it. Here's something a little disappointed. Here's Ghost, which was came with the first Jon Snow, the Night's Watch Jon Snow. It's a little disappointing to me. This doesn't really look like Ghost. He looks like an emaciated Ghost. Like, he just doesn't... I don't know how this made into production. It's not really good. I'm so used to looking at it because I've had it for years, so I've kind of got used to him, but, man, he really does not look like Ghost. So, if you're counting Ghost as a figure, probably technically he's the worst one. That's the Jon Snow we came with. And, I think Jon might have been the 3rd or 4th figure they ever released. Here we got Bran. And I guess this is the version of Bran you'd want. Would you want little kid Bran? I don't know. Though by this time he's barely Bran. He's kind of boring and weird, and we don't know how that ends up. He becomes king, blah, blah, blah. And Sansa, I have mixed feelings. Should this be the Sansa we've got? Again, this is 3-0 trying to keep relevant of the show, trying to get the latest in version, but not necessarily the greatest. But again, it's Sansa. She's not going to be that exciting of a figure regardless, so I guess put her in a more elaborate outfit because she pretty much just wore like a dress any other season, so I suppose this one will do. And here we got the Arya in her like season 2, 3, kind of 4 outfit where she's riding with the Hound. Her and the Hound have the best scenes together in the show. I wish that would have lasted longer. But some of my favorite scenes involve these two when they were traveling together. And we're leaving off with Ned. I'm a big Sean Bean fan, and Ned's the one that started it all. He was the first figure, and I think that was a great choice. Start with Ned. Canon asks for some people don't like the head sculpt too much. I think it's okay. Obviously, this is the outfit you'd want Ned in. He's got the cloak, blah, blah, blah. Kind of, if you take that cloak off, you can get more of a King's Landing Ned. I don't believe he has the hand pin, or doesn't come with it. Mine doesn't have it, so either it fell off or I never had it. That's fine, though. My only regret is that the exclusive from 3-0 came with Ice, which I don't have. Ice is his big beheading sword, more basically, and yeah, I regret not getting that. And we're leaving it off with Jon Snow. This is later Jon Snow. Definitely prefer this one to the Night's Watch Jon Snow. It's kind of how I remember him at this point, honestly, and it's kind of when Jon's more evolved of a character. Say what you want about those later seasons, and especially season 8 Jon, but I really like season 6 and 7 Jon. He became his own man and just an awesome character, honestly. And so if I had to pick between the two, this is the Jon I would want, but I have both. So anyway, that's the collection. Now, I'll just go with this real quick. They showed pictures like a while ago, maybe a month ago, of Khal Drogo, Daenerys in the Dothraki gear, Season 8 Daenerys, and I believe the Mountain. Out of all those, the Mountain and Drogo are definitely the most cool that I would want. Besides those, who else could they possibly make? Well, I'm going to go with 5. And I'm putting myself on the spot here, but if they put me in charge, this is who I would want. And leave in the comments who you'd want. Number 1, the Red Viper. Pedro Pascal seems to be really hot right now, so I think he would be a great fit. They definitely should make Oberyn. Robb Stark, who's been rumored anyway, but come on, let's get Robb out. The original King of the North. Theon Greyjoy, who I think is such an underrated character and possibly the best actor in the entire series. That's right, I'm saying it. Ramsay. We need Ramsay. We got Joffrey. We got sort of Tywin. Not really, but we got Cersei. But of all the major villains, we need Ramsay. And so that's 4. Who is my 5th one? Marjorie Tyrell. Now, Natalie Dormer's basically my favorite actress, so am I a little biased? Possibly. But honestly, I think Marjorie was a great character, and her death was kind of meh. So I'll pretty much keep buying them as long as I keep putting them out, but those are the 5 I would like, other than the ones announced already, so I'm not counting those. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, winter is coming. And now my watch has ended.